Let's dive straight into super thinking. Imagine a silver tuning fork just humming under immense pressure right before impact. Keep that tension in your mind, because this explainer on superthinking is going to test exactly how much pressure your decision-making can actually take. You see, superthinking isn't just a clever phrase. We're looking at a strict operating manual for judgment. Ultimately, it asks what you are willing to ignore, not just what you're willing to learn.
You are not short on mental models. You are using mental models to avoid one paid choice. Let that hit you for a second. This is the hidden cost of the concepts inside this book, Superthinking. Authors Gabriel Weinberg and Lauren McCann aren't just giving you a bigger toolbox. They're holding up a mirror to the exact tools you're hiding behind. Your mind is grabbing all these tools because it simply cannot stand an unpriced trade-off.
Model hopping is wisdom theater. It's a reality slap. You face a hard decision. You reach for one framework, then another, then one more. Soon the question hasn't improved, it's just gained furniture. Authors Gabriel Weinberg and Lauren McCann call this out brilliantly. You think you're being thorough, but what you're really doing is using frameworks to avoid making an actual unpriced trade-off. It's like a metronome needle swinging wildly at the top of the frame. Incredible speed, absolutely zero destination. If I collect enough mental models, I can think my way out of almost anything faster. I wish this weren't true, but look at where it leads. It's the voice of a person who's been rewarded for being sharp. Let's walk this logic down to a total collapse. If more models mean better thought, then every choice deserves more models, right? And if every choice deserves more models, well, the lay becomes diligence. You're making the mental model responsible for your courage. Like a violin string stretched way past its usefulness, your competence is tightening under silent hands until it simply can't play a note. So, choose early and miss a hidden risk, or add models and miss a decision window. Which loss do you pick? Both equal the exact same misunderstanding. You made the model responsible for removing the price. Both of these losing options share the exact same error, using intelligence as protection. You're trying to find the one framework that will allow you to act without leaving a fingerprint. But as we know, a real choice always leaves evidence behind. So how do we cut through that trap? We build a working stop rule. We call this the 2-minute cut. Step 1, name a live decision. Step 2, write down the accepted price. Step 3, place exactly one model beside it. Then stop. The stop is the skill. The true skill taught in this book is the stop rule, not endless hoarding. Because without action, borrowed structure is really just sheet music fluttering in stale air. This brings us to the core thesis of this book. A mental model is a contract. It's a lens that reveals one kind of truth by blurring another. It is not a verdict. A model doesn't remove the price of a decision, it merely names it. That blur isn't a defect of the model. That blur is the bill you have to pay. When you stop looking for a verdict and start looking for a lens, the temperature of the room changes. You stop fighting the trade-off and start owning it. Here's the intermediate cognitive sequence you need to run. First, frame the decision. Second, stress it with an opposite model. Third, choose the cost you can defend. A beginner looks at the world and asks, which model is the absolute best? But a wise operator looks at the world and asks, what blindness does this specific model create, and am I willing to be blind at that specific thing right now? Let's apply this directly to prove that strategy is really about exclusion. If your primary risk is emotional drift, you apply the identity model. If your hidden risk is wasted capital, you drop everything else and use the expected value model. If your team is facing total confusion, you use the incentives model. You see, the right model exposes the specific trade-off. If you try to use all of them at once, you're just a cracked metronome, swinging off beat, creating timing without any actual trust. Range is not aim. Take a deep breath and let that sink in for a moment. Range is not aim. This is where intelligence stretched past its purpose simply snaps. You can see every angle. You can name every bias. You can teach second-order thinking to your entire team. But speed without destination only spreads error faster. If you don't aim, your intelligence just recoils into quiet, snapped like a broken string. And this brings us to a second dilemma. You can pick the elegant model and completely flatten the human mess. Or you can honor the human mess and lose your clean logic. Which failure do you choose? I want you to confess this to yourself right now. Seeing every angle is often just a highly polished refusal to walk through the door. You're essentially asking the model to do the dirty work of choosing for you. So what would change if your next decision had to include its own known weakness? I'm not sure where this leaves us, but let that engineering reality really sink in. You are the owner of the choice.
You can't just leave an empty chair in the room while the framework does all the talking.
Judgment is chosen distortion in service of a purpose. Your next level of growth is not more cleverness, it's cleaner ownership of the blur. When you choose the distortion, you're demonstrating disciplined judgment after the noise. Like a tuning fork vibrating into silence, you've finally isolated the one clean tone that matters. You don't need louder ticks. You need a rhythm you're actually willing to own.
Before tomorrow, you're going to take action. You have exactly 300 seconds right now. I demand you take this time. Open a note on your computer titled Paid Trade-Off. Write down a delayed decision you've been circling around. Now, violently delete 2 models from your list of considerations. Stop researching, pick one lens, name the blur, and act while the price is still visible. Choose the model, pay the cost. This is the core signature of everything we've been building today. Without doing this, your cognitive signature just fades into nothing. You simply become a collector of empty frameworks, holding a brass mute over the bell of your own potential. Choose the model, pay the cost.